Hi folks, what have we got here? A Sofirn SP36, the Pro version. So first and foremost, the Pro version, that's 8,000 lumens, provided by those 4 luminous SST40s in there, as opposed to the standard version, which I think is 5,600, something like that. But otherwise, the two models are outwardly similar and powered, which the kit will come with if you order it with the batteries. You've got your 3 Sofirn 18650s tucked in there. The operation is pretty simple, with a 1-click on and a 1-click off. The default is the ramping mode, up, down, back again. Pretty usual for Sofirn now. I think I'm getting a bit used to that. And from any point we can double click, and oh, that is so bright, 8,000 lumens. We can jump to turbo. Comes nicely boxed with a few bits and bobs, and notably the USB-C charging with the port there in the back. I did the heat testing on that, which I'll slot in before I take it out and show you. It holds its power remarkably well. In the manual it's talking about turbo for about a minute, but perhaps it's just a bit cold where I am. I got quite a bit more than that. I think it will probably also worth, given that we are moving into some serious flashlight territory now, aren't we, at 8,000 lumens. I think I would be inclined, if I were you, to calibrate the thermal sensor, which I've done a separate video on that. I mean, if you want to just leave it, I suppose that, that's fine. I've shown you, or will show you shortly, how it works out of the box. But I think to get your maximum kind of optimization from this light, I think I would do the thermal calibration. Anyway, moving on, let's have a look at the specifications. As mentioned there, turbo mode, 8,000 lumens, IPX8, drop resistant, advanced temperature regulation. That's set by the factory at 45, so that's where the 1 minute drop down comes from, which will no doubt be an estimate as to how long it's anticipated that it will reach that temperature. You can have a play around with that, but have a look at my video on the thermal regulation. Pretty good manual, as I've now come to expect from Sofirn. Your operating instructions, quick start guide, your Android UI as well. I've mentioned this quite a bit in the other videos. That really is worth spending a bit of time having a look at. I'm not going to do it here and now or on this video. Probably need a video on its own to go through, but you can mess about with all manner of things, including whether it's going to be a stepped power change or a ramped power change. You've got your blinky strobes, all manner of stuff that you can have a mess around with in the thermal configuration there that I mentioned. A couple of frequently asked questions at the end. All in all, a nice little light. But let's put it next to, what have I got hanging around here? Oh, we've got the SP35, a 21700 light. So as you can see, it's a little bit of a chunk, but not quite as big as. Let me pause. Oh, sorry. Let me pause the video and grab something else just to show you as a comparison. It's a good job I just paused there. I've got my daughter's dog with me today. That's the naughty one. My two are great. So we've got actually kind of standard 18650 size from Sofirn versus your 21700 size, and then quite a jump there, isn't there? And I think it's kind of bridging the gap between kind of the pop can size type, as we call them. So these kind of things here are sometimes regarded as being the powerhouses. This one certainly is. But we're just kind of slotting in that gap there, aren't we, with this in between kind of your 21700 size, and then your your full-blown pop can type, with 4 18650s in there. So it's a lot more comfortable to hold and a lot more manageable than that. I think the 4 18650s, you're kind of getting into the little bit of a quite not so handy. This one, at least to me, feels a lot more manageable. So I'll kind of close this bit here. I'll chuck in the temperature test next. Remember what I said about the thermal calibration, and then I'll take it out and show you the good part, the beam shots. See you shortly. Hi folks, so I've got the SP36 now on its factory settings out of the box. It is a bit of a cold night tonight, so we're a little bit colder than room temperature, but I think that's okay. So let me zoom in, start our timer, engage turbo. What's our ambient reading there? 284, 281.80. So we've got a apparent media drop. Let's watch and see what happens. A little bit of a drop there, didn't we, at the beginning? 36. But it seems to have leveled out now. And the factory says that our ATR will kick in at 45. And it speculates that will be roughly at around a minute. We're a minute 40 now. We did take that drop at the beginning, didn't we? But at the moment it's holding. It seems to be holding. Seems to be holding pretty well. Yeah, so I think you saw that at sort of, well, we were just over 3 minutes there. I was watching the temperature, and yes, it hit our threshold and immediately backed off down to the 183. Did a lot better than the manual said it would do on default though, didn't it? Around a minute it said, so we got quite a bit more than that. Can we re-engage turbo? Yes, we can, but I suspect the temperature regulation will kick in again. Okay, let's stop there. This is what I have to put up with, when I come out with these. Are you ready? And then this one here, she never wants to come out. Come on. Start off the SP36 Pro on its lowest mode. Well, let's get closer as I tend to normally do and ramp up to its maximum non-turbo. You'll probably notice that it's got a bit of a unusual beam profile, hasn't it? Beam pattern. Sorry, I heard something sneaking around there on my left. I'll come back to that in a moment, and let's open up some distance. I don't know what power that's actually putting out. I'm on the on its highest ramp mode, which isn't turbo, of course, and you can change your ramp modes, I think, as I mentioned, and jump to turbo. And as you can see now, I mean, that's 8,000 lumens. That is just immense. The only thing you might not like is that beam profile. It's kind of got that, like a Saturn's ring, hasn't it, around it. Doesn't particularly bother me, but it might bother you. Take him off turbo. Back up to full again. Have a look a bit closer. You can see now, this is into the realms of a proper light now, aren't we? Now let me zoom into the distance. Now the trouble is when I zoom, I'm going to alter my focal ratio. You probably noticed it go quite a little bit dimmer. Let me change. There you go. Just try and change my frame rate now to compensate, because I've just buggered around with the focal ratio. And you can see it's getting into the distance quite nicely there. Let's put it back to its proper setting and zoom back to where we should be. There we go. And Joe, I just had to click there. I thought, have I got it on turbo? Yes, I have. And the reason I did that, it's not getting warm at all. I did set the thermal setting as I recommended you guys do, and I've set this one to 50. So I'm expecting the turbo mode to do me quite well. But I will carry on walking with it, and I'll leave it on turbo and just see how quickly it does heat up. And I am really expecting it, based on those desktop tests, to perform really well. But I'll come back and confirm that with you when I've had a little bit of a walk and then get some distance on and have another look at it. I've actually got I'm doing the SP36 and 35 back to back. I've got them both in my pocket. They've reacted very well to the heat, to be honest with you, in particular the 36, simply because I expected that to overheat and go bonkers, and it hasn't. I've probably got 8-9 minutes out of it before it started to feel uncomfortable and step down. So I've got them both in my pocket, decided to walk on, let them cool down before I get a little bit of distance on. Where's my dogs? Get a little bit of distance on and pull them back out when they've cooled off. I'm running off the headlight at the moment, so hopefully in a few minutes they'll be cool enough, and I'll pull them back out. So I've let the 36 cool off nicely. Now we're back up to its full ramping mode. Just go down and back up again, so you can see that's really impressive, isn't it? Let me change the distance and we'll have a look as we swing out. Well, there's a local swans wondering what's going on. To those, sorry, my dog's lead's getting tangled up. There we go. Those trees there, 100 metres, smashing that distance. Ramp down, back up again. Just on its highest. And then moving out to kind of 150. That donut thing, by the way, that's really obvious now, isn't it? It's not bothering me, but if you think it's going to bother you, this. Oh, hang on a sec, what's going on here? Dogs have found some water. Turbo mode, 8,000 lumens. And as I was commenting earlier on, it is really holding that power well, a lot better than stated in the manual at 1 minute. I mean, that's just amazing, isn't it? That's as far as I can see. You know, let me put it back onto, that's its highest. Turbo. You're getting a very, very lengthy turbo, certainly more than 1 minute. That's a nice blast of 8,000 lumens, isn't it, just to disturb the wildlife. Fantastic, I just won't say little torch, moderate sized torch. Train. I think these trains wait for me to come here now. Right, I shall clear off, take these girls home, get them something to eat, and start to encode all this little lot and get it up online for you to have a look at. Thanks, folks. It's like herding cats, you know, with these three. This is about the only time that I've actually managed to catch them all together. I've normally got one of them around my bloody feet, one of them God knows how far in the distance, and one of them God knows how far behind me. Yeah,